Good afternoon, Donte.
How you doing, Kev?
Doing great. Great to be back in the lab.
I love that name for this space. That's cool.
This is definitely the lab. So, as we begin our 2020 of deep collaboration.
We're in February already.
And pursuit of the absolute highest heights.
Greatness.
We thought, and we're like, okay, areas of focus. Where do our skills meet? What should be our first target demographic in terms of industry that we should work on cornering, bringing on board a JAG, and going after? And
we're going after property management, baby.
Property management. So Donte and I have sort of figured out that property management is a nice little intersection of our past lives in terms of experience.
Where the tire meets the road, as they say. The rubber meets the road.
Thank you, Jamie. Where the rubber meets the road. And so just for a little background, my experience before the agency side was in underwriting, commercial underwriting. Focused on buildings, focused on operations, but I did get a very good idea of how properties are placed within the marketplace. In terms of carriers that are players, how rates are created, what underwriters look for, the questions to ask, the details not to share, etc. So I've sort of lived in that world. But tell us a little bit about your experience and how it relates.
I'm from the property management side, baby. I've done everything from cutting the grass of the actual apartment community to running an entire portfolio. So from being on site to working with asset managers, I have a plethora of knowledge and insider trader information. I don't have any insider traders information, but I know everything up from the ground up, honestly, from working out on site to traveling to different industries and different markets. And that's how I got here to Miami, honestly.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, you also worked a lot in student housing and property management.
Student housing. Now, that's a completely different animal, as they say in the industry. With student housing, it's obviously based on being around the college. And so when I moved here, I was near FIU, and with that experience, it was crazy, right? When you move to Miami, things are just a little bit more crazy than wherever you came from, honestly.
Yeah.
Maybe not for Vegas people. I don't know.
Maybe still, honestly.
Probably. But nonetheless, with student housing, I'm really focusing on residents who are at a younger age, right? And then by helping them to get acclimated to the actual apartment life, you go through a lot of bumps and bruises. So you get to talk not only to the residents, but to also their guarantors or their parents, their co-signers. And then that just brings in a whole new ball game, new challenges, but at the same time, new lessons are going to be learned. So when it comes to that, I also know how to deal with, like an adult resident. I know how to deal with a student resident. I know how to deal with grandparents who were coming to visit who helped them move in. So what I'm really excited about this year in 2020 is you having your background, me having my background, and then the common ground between the two is insurance.
Yeah. So the way I think about it is in the game of insurance, probably any industry, but especially in insurance, it's all communication. It's all translating the necessary data and information from language to language. And it's almost like every stage in the insurance process has their own language. The people that work for the carriers kind of speak their own way, the wholesalers, the agents. And then as agents, it's kind of our job to translate it into a language that the insured, the client,
they can understand. Yeah. And I mean, at the same time, from a property management standpoint, we need to know who we need to talk to. We need to know what levels we need to go to, and who the best person is to get what information or extract what information to share the data that we have as far as insurance goes. So I think that's where we have the best of both worlds, as you would say.
Best of both worlds. And
welcome to the best of both worlds.
It's a Donte original.
It's not. It's from the early 2000s.
Early 2000s. But anyway, we digress. But back...
you made me choke on my water.
Yeah, my train of thought just kind of got
a
little derailed right there. But really what I think is kind of another interesting aspect is the fact that we have experience in these industries. And I have I've experienced in the back end of insurance, so I can kind of see what's going to come up down the road writing a policy with certain properties, with certain types of clients, just because I have so much experience. I've touched so many accounts over the years that can kind of come up. And it's also with your experience on the property management side, when we're implementing a program, when we're designing the way that we're going to handle a portfolio for a property manager, we can see both on the property manager side, on the carrier side, of course, on the agency side as well, what's going to happen down the line? What are potential pitfalls and problems that can arise?
But like, Kevin, honestly, like this partnership right here, it actually came up in my lunch meeting today. And I was sitting down with a prospect, and we were talking about their property management company and how not just myself, but I was like, you know what? Like, you're such a prestigious client. We definitely want to make sure that we have 2 agents. So it's going to be myself and my guy, Kevin. And obviously we have our principals that help us out, and they're a great resource always. But I was like, we're going to be heading this up. You know me, and like the relationship that I've already established with them, which is great. And they also know that, hey, you know, I'm bringing someone in who also knows a little bit more about the insurance side. I know a little bit more about the property management side. So we're going to tag team this thing. And then they were like, oh, absolutely. And that just got our foot in the door. And I mean, I think we're going to nail this.
I agree. And then what kind of is blasting me in the face in bright shining letters is the fact that we have concrete experience in every single step of this transaction, from managing properties to placing the insurance. There isn't an area on this. There isn't any single stop on the insurance train from the end user all the way up to the carrier that we haven't lived, that we haven't been a part of. So there's where can we be surprised?
That's right. And that makes us a little bit more trustworthy. At the end of the day, people shop around. They shop their policy around because there's a level of distrust, whether a great level or a small level. But they're shopping it around because there's a level of distrust. But here's the thing. We're showing you that every step of the way you can trust us, because not only have we been there, we can guide you through it, and we're going to crush it.
So, you know, for example, I sent in an order on an account I closed today. It's a CBD e-commerce company. You know, they manufacture and sell CBD products throughout the United States. And when I sent in my order, I provided all the carrier subjectivities up front, and also a lot of other details that they would have liked to know that could have prevented anything coming up throughout the year. The underwriter is kind of like, hey, you know, I appreciate you getting this to me. It's a little bit out of the norm, but, you know, I really appreciate it. Thanks. And it's like, I've been on that world. So, you know, and that client's name, Canaleaf, they're great. So the CBD scape right now is a little bit off topic, but in Florida it's a Wild West right now.
Right.
So when you can work with a company that clearly has all their ducks in the row, the owner has a ton of experience, very knowledgeable, masters in bioengineering. It's just they're so well qualified that they're going to
He sounds super smart. I want to meet him.
Yeah, her actually.
Oh, hello.
Shout out to female leadership, you know, taking over.
We love female leadership.
But
I'm a big fan.
But yeah, so, you know, as we work that deal, it's not only are we sweetening the relationships with the carriers that are managing our property management clients and partners, but we're also doing it on the client side as well. So it's a totally functional relationship from beginning to end on all sides. And the longer we do it, the better the bond, the stronger the bonds are going to become.
Absolutely.
The more trust we're going to have on every side. And I just, you know, I can't think of a better situation to kind of start our collaboration with.
I can't think of a better team.
No better team out there. You know, that reminds me of the Florida State Seminoles.
That does not remind me of the Florida State Seminoles. Maybe when they won the national championship. What was that,
2013.
All right. But then who was the team who won it after that? Oh, that was the Ohio State Buckeyes. That's right. I almost forgot. That was the first national playoff. We were ranked number 4.
Just like those 2 great established college franchises had the national championship.
I don't know if you guys are still
locked down.
Are you still
We're going to lock down. Norvell is making some moves.
Is this our first fight right here? Is this our first fight?
We got some new quarterbacks. You know, maybe we'll turn this into a friendly bet. I think this is the way it's going. Because I would like to.
You guys will never make it to the playoff to play us, so.
I don't know, man.
But that's none of my business.
We'll see.
No, but I'm excited.
Keep it PG. But
this is exciting. I'm glad we sat down and talked about it. And I think this is gonna be something that people can definitely look at and say like, hey man, like look at the people in my office. What can I partner with someone else with, just to make sure that I'm getting comfortable, I'm getting the exposure, right? I think a lot of people are waiting to pull the trigger. This is us pulling the trigger, going out there and getting it. You know, make sure that we're respecting people's time.
We'll make sure to have that thought completed a few seconds out.
Yeah. But, thanks for tuning in. Insurance isn't always black and white.